Hi guys, I'm Tracy Ward and this is my podcast. Welcome. So today's podcast is all about ketosis. So we'll try and get through all the science of that and kind of try and make it as understandable as possible. The keto in the word ketosis comes from ketones, and it's the name of small fuel molecules that are in the body. And this is an alternative fuel for the body, produced from fat we eat and used when blood sugar or glucose is in short supply. Now these ketones are produced when you eat very low carbs, the main source of blood sugar, and only moderate amounts of protein. Excess protein gets converted to blood sugar. So under these circumstances, fat is converted in the liver to ketones that then enter the bloodstream. I hope that makes sense. They're then used as fuel by cells in the body, just like glucose. They can even be used by the brain, which is extra important as the brain cannot be directly fueled by fat. And it's a very hungry organ, believe it or not. So maximising fat burning. One way to enter the state of ketosis is to eat a ketogenic diet. Another is to do a period of fasting. We talked about fasting last week in episode 4. For anybody who didn't listen to that one. Under these circumstances, as soon as the body's limited reserves of glucose starts to run out, your entire body switches its fuel supply to run almost completely on fat. The levels of the fat-storing hormone, insulin levels, become very low and fat burning increases dramatically. Thereby, you get easy access to the fat stores and can burn them off. This is great for losing excess weight, and studies have proven that keto diets results in more weight loss and faster, which is why a lot of people can stick to it because they get more motivated by the fat loss than the weight loss. But there are also more potential benefits. When the body produces enough ketones to measure significant levels in the blood, which is usually over 0.5, it's said to be in ketosis. The fastest way to achieve that is by fasting or a very low calorie diet, but obviously you can't do that forever. A strictly low carb or keto diet, however, can be eaten for any amount of time. It also results in ketosis. It achieves many of the benefits of fasting, like weight loss, but without having to fast. So I hope this is all making sense. And as I said, ketones are brain fuel. It's a common misconception that the brain needs carbs. The truth is that the brain happily burns carbs when you eat them, but if you don't eat too many carbs, the brain is happy to burn ketones instead. This is an absolutely necessary function for basic survival. As the body can only store carbs for a day or two, the brain would quickly shut down after a couple of days without food. I think mine shut down before this, but anyway. Alternatively, it would quickly have to convert our muscle protein into glucose, a very inefficient process, and that is just to keep the brain going. That would make us waste away quickly. It would also ensure that the human race could hardly have survived all these millennia before we had 24/7 food availability. Fortunately, our bodies have evolved to be smarter than that, although I do wonder about mine sometimes. Normally we have fat stores that last so that we can survive for many weeks, if not months, without food. Ketosis is how the body makes sure that the brain can run on those fat stores too. So the bottom line, we do not need to eat any carbs at all, really, I guess. The brain can happily run on fat. Many people even feel more energized and focused when the brain gets to run on ketones made from fat. And I found this definitely because obviously I struggle with the fibromyalgia and the fibro fog. And it also speeds up fat loss if you're trying to lose weight, which is fantastic. And benefits of ketosis. There's many benefits, to be fair. But by giving your body and brain an almost unlimited supply of energy, you can increase your mental and physical endurance. It also reduces hunger, weirdly enough, facilitating effortless weight loss. I'll say effortless I'd say easier weight loss. Don't get too excited now, but some people find it really easy. Furthermore, as getting into ketosis requires eating very few carbs, it can effectively reverse type 2 diabetes, as proven with myself and the housemates on the Fast Fix Diabetes plan. Ketosis has always been used for a long time to control epilepsy, often even without drugs. And as I say, you need to watch the Magic Pill if you can get hold of it on Netflix, or see if it's on YouTube maybe. But even beyond this, it's showing great promise for several other conditions as well. I mean, it's been shown to improve acne, reverse PCOS, and I think, although I can't confirm, I think it's even been used for treating brain cancer. I don't know too much about that, so I can't really go into too much detail with that one. But so we say, is lose weight, reverse type 2 diabetes, mental focus, increase endurance, control illnesses, and also fewer migraine attacks actually as well, I've heard. So how to get into ketosis? To get into ketosis, you need low levels of the fat-storing hormone insulin. Now, the most important way to do that is to eat a strict low-carb diet, as we said, also called a ketogenic diet. On top of the necessary ketogenic diet, there are many ways to increase ketosis further. And as we've mentioned, the most powerful is adding intermittent fasting. Now, I've been doing that, and I have actually lost a pound, which I know it's not a lot, but it's still a loss. And I didn't find it that difficult, to be honest. It was a case of finishing eating by 6 p.m. and then starting again at 10 a.m. So you just have that little window to eat in, and it weren't that bad. I find it quite well. And as I said in the last episode, I use a little app which times it all, and it makes it so much easier. So symptoms and how to know you're in ketosis. I mean, how do you know? But it is possible to actually measure it by testing the urine, blood and breath samples. We all had pongy breath in that house, I can assure you. It's a quite a noticeable smell as well. But as I said, it doesn't really last long, but we did smell it. So how do you measure it? So there are 3 ways to measure for ketones. All will come with the pros and cons. There's urine strips, which is the easiest, I have to say. They are the simplest and cheapest way to measure ketosis. And it is the first option, to be honest with you, especially for people just starting out. And basically you just dip the strip into the urine, and 15 seconds later the colour change will show you the presence of ketones. And on your bottle of the strips there's a little colour chart, so you just hold it against it and you can see where you are. And you can get them from all the chemists. You can get them on Amazon. They're very easy to get hold of, and they are quite cheap. And as I say, the colours vary in shades of pink to dark purple. But the only con is results can vary depending on how much fluid you drink. The strips don't show a precise ketone level. But finally, and most importantly, as you begin increasing keto-adapted and your body reabsorbs ketones from the urine strips may become unreliable, even if you're in ketosis. So that's worth not thinking about, but keeping in the back of your mind. Don't suddenly worry if the colour's changing. It doesn't mean you're not in ketosis, because after several weeks it can do that. There are breath ketone analyzers. I've not tried these, but again, it's a simple way. And it measures it in your breath. But I think they're more expensive than the urine strips, but they are cheaper than the blood ketone meters in the long run. So it's, I guess it's what you want to do really. But they do not give a precise ketone level when used on their own, but they provide a colour code for the general level. You can also hook them up to computers or mobile phones and get an exact ketone number via the app and all these kind of things. But I've not used it, and I don't know. I've only ever used the strips, and they seem fine to me. And as I say, you can get blood ketone meters. They show an exact and current level of ketones in your blood. They are the gold standard and the most exact way to measure your ketosis level. The major disadvantage, however, is that they are quite expensive. How expensive, I'm not sure at the moment. So again, have a look on Amazon and things like that. They look like the diabetic testing things, though, to be fair, so that gives you an idea of what they look like, but they are exact. So how do we reach optimal ketosis? Getting into ketosis is not a black or white thing. It's not like you're either in ketosis or you're out of ketosis. Instead, you can be different degrees of ketosis. And you can find various charts if you Google, and it will show you all the different levels and things. Below 0.5 is not considered ketosis, although they say a value of, say, 0.2 demonstrates that you're getting close. So at this level, you're still far away from the maximum fat burning. Between 0.5 and 1.5 is light nutritional ketosis. You'll be getting a good effect on your weight, but perhaps not optimal. And around 1.5 to 3 is called optimal ketosis and is recommended for maximum mental and physical performance gains. It also maximises fat burning, which can increase weight loss. Over 3 is higher than necessary. It will achieve neither better nor worse results than being at the 1.5 to 3. So, higher numbers can also sometimes mean that you're not getting enough food, and it's a starvation ketosis. So, like for type 1 diabetic, sorry, my dog sneezed. For type 1 diabetics, it can be caused by a severe lack of insulin that requires urgent attention. So if you're going over 8 to 10, it's normally impossible to get to that level just by eating a keto diet. It means that something is wrong. The most common cause by far is type 1 diabetes with a severe lack of insulin. And symptoms include feeling very sick, with nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain and confusion. And the possible end result, ketoacidosis, can be fatal and requires immediate medical care. So anybody with type 1 diabetes, do not go on a keto diet, in my personal opinion, without talking to your doctor, as it can be dangerous. Everybody else, you're fine. So, do you have to reach optimal ketosis to experience the benefits? In short, the answer to that is no. Many of the benefits, such as weight loss, are experienced at lower levels of ketosis, which is above 0.5. However, you might need to reach high levels of ketosis for high level physical performance. There's also a time element involved. It takes weeks or even a few months for the body to adapt completely. Keto guides. Keto can be really simple, but it helps to learn some basic new skills. How do you prepare easy and enjoyable meals, like keto breakfast, for example? Have you shunned fat for years and you don't know how to get more in your diet? How do you eat out and still stay keto? You need to read up about this kind of thing, because we've been so used to being told that we should be eating low fat, high carbs, when in fact we're doing the complete opposite. We need to do the complete opposite. So you've got to get your head around it a bit. So starting your day, forget the toast, forget the porridge. We're talking low carbs now. So you need to have things like bacon and eggs. Some people don't have eggs, but personally I have eggs. I think they're fine. And ignore now that they used to say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, it's not. If you're not hungry when you wake up, feel free to skip your breakfast or just have a cup of coffee. It's part of the intermittent fasting. So just eat your first meal when you're hungry. And remember, reduced hunger is common on keto. You're not going to starve. You eat when you're hungry. So don't worry about skipping your breakfast if you don't need it. And meals, what to eat for lunch or dinner. It can be as simple as meat, fish, chicken with a salad or some kind of vegetable side dish. You can even have melted butter, cheese, a full fat sauce. Fat actually makes you feel fuller, believe it or not. So you can do a lot with those things. Again, keto on a budget. But a lot of people think it's expensive, and I suppose it could be, but that's with everything, isn't it? If you're wanting to get the best good quality food, like grass-fed, steak from fast-bred from grass-fed cows, But you just got to go what you can afford, can't you? I mean, I can't afford to have that kind of meat, but just the best that you can afford. But you don't need a lot anyway, to be fair. As I said, for decades we've been told wrongly to fear fat. Now we know fat, as I've just said, makes you feel fuller and for longer. And it also makes the food taste good. You can't beat a bit of proper butter. There is so many websites and books about keto diets and what you can eat and what you can't eat. And again, in my blog posts, I will mention all these places for you to look. Bread for me was my biggest downfall. I was eating a whole French stick near enough every day before I went into that house. And thinking back now, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? A whole French stick in a day, together with dairy cheese. I mean, that's not really good either, is it? But I would sit and I'd eat loads of toast, crumpets. Then at night it'd be a meal with pasta and rice. I mean, look at all the carbs there. Unbelievable. No wonder I was in such a bad state. I don't have toast now. I have carbs, kind of special occasions, like if we're going out for a meal, but I don't always have to eat all of it. It's just like a taste. Like when my daughter's 18th, we all went out for a meal, ordered steak, and it came with fries. But I didn't eat all of them. I probably had about 4, if that, and I didn't want any more than that. It's a taste, not a portion, if you think of it like that way. But don't do it if you're really trying to count all your carbs. But bread, as I say, that's the one thing that people miss. I mean, I did start with, but I'm not missing it so much now. And you can also get alternative bread options and recipes using other types of flours, and it's just as good. I'm going to be doing a recipe book. I've decided specifically for low carbs and keto diets. Dining out, so I mean, when you go to buffets, things like that, friends' houses, fast food restaurants, just avoid the starchy bits, just avoid the bread and the pasta, and ask for additional natural fat like butter or olive oil. So if you're really good, you could go have a steak, request a salad, just say, I don't want any fries, just steak, salad, a knob of butter on the steak, and that's fine. It's really nice. I would also advise avoiding special products within reason. I mean, I do recommend Exante. That is purely because I have used their products and I have got the results from it, and I know how much it's changed me, so I will recommend them. But be careful when you look at foods in the supermarkets, because you'll find now everyone is banging high protein on things. I find it quite annoying, to be honest. But don't just look at that and just pick it up and think, oh, that'll be fine. You've got to look at those ingredients on that packet. A lot of these things make out that they're really healthy, but they've got a lot of carbs in as well. So you really need to look at the things on there. So say you're travelling, what you could eat that's low carb and keto while travelling around. Obviously, you've got your seasonings. You can use salt and pepper. Dark chocolate's fine. I used to hate dark chocolate, but I actually don't mind it now. You can take cheese, small portions of cheese, little bottle of olive oil, hard-boiled eggs are great, vegetables with dips, nuts. With the nuts, though, stick to almonds, hazelnuts, peanuts, Brazil nuts. Don't go for the pistachios and the cashews, and just small portions of the nuts, especially with Brazil nuts, because I didn't realise if you eat too many of those, they can actually be quite toxic. So don't go overboard like I did, make yourself feel ill. But cooked bacon as well and things like that. So these are quite filling things to have. Just have these around the house, Eat well before you leave to go somewhere. Pack your low carb snacks. You can drink black coffee. I love black coffee now. I used to hate it. Do a bit of fasting. If you go into a restaurant, look online, look ahead and see what the menu is and plan it in advance. And just commit yourself to success. So, eat well before you go. And say that as well about going to the supermarket, don't they? Eat before you go. Make sure you have that first meal is a low carb filling meal, and that will help. So you could have the hard-boiled eggs, cooked bacon, egg muffins, yogurt with cream, berries, nuts. If you've got time, you could saute an old sausage up with some mushrooms and tomatoes. And also avocado, if you like avocado. I only like avocado when it's in a smoothie, to be honest. I'm not one for that otherwise. But there's also low carb snacks, as I said. The nut butters are good. You can make your own nut butters, to be honest. And I said the cheese, the eggs, biltong, or jerky, as some people call it. You can actually make crisps as well out of cheese. If you look online for some recipes for that, you can have celery with cream cheese or nut butters. And as I said as well, try fasting. If intermittent fasting is part of your low carb routine, use it strategically. Words today. Use it strategically to skip the meals and make travel simpler. I personally always take a bar with me. I've always got a bar in my bag or a small shaker bottle with a sachet in it ready to go. So, potential side effects of ketosis. When you suddenly switch your body's metabolism from burning carbs or glucose to fat and ketones, you may have some side effects as your body gets used to its new fuel. Symptoms can include headaches, tiredness, muscle fatigue, cramping, heart palpitations. But these symptoms are mild and short-lived for most people. It's also called keto flu. Many, though, feel fantastic right away, and if not, there are ways to minimise or cure any of these side effects anyway. Another option to reduce potential side effects is to gradually decrease your consumption of carbs over a few weeks rather than just like jumping straight away. Whatever's best for you. But with a slower start, you'll likely not see as dramatic results or feel the positive benefits as strongly. So they do recommend you stop sugar and starches all at once. You will likely lose a number of pounds within days. While some of that initial rapid weight loss is water weight, reduced swelling, it's still a highly motivating and inspiring way to start your keto journey. When you see those figures on the scales that first week, wow, you will be smiling like I don't know what. So as I said, it's called keto flu, or it's known as keto flu. It will make you feel more or less crappy, basically. As I said, headache, fatigue, dizziness, like nausea, difficult focusing, like brain fog, which I get anyway with the fibromyalgia, lack of motivation, irritability. So I know it doesn't sound good, but it doesn't last. They usually disappear within a week as your body adapts to increased fat burning. The cause of this keto flu is that carb-rich foods can result in water retention in the body. And when you start a low-carb diet, much of that excess fluid is lost. You may notice increased urination, and with that some extra salt is lost too. This can result in dehydration and lack of salt before your body adapts. That's the reason behind most of the symptoms of the keto flu. You can reduce or even eliminate these symptoms by making sure you get enough water and salt. So to do that, you could drink a cup of stock, broth, 1 to 2 times a day. Some people have a stock cube in water. I did try that and it wasn't that bad, to be honest. The more common keto side effects, apart from the keto flu, can be avoided to a large extent by drinking enough water and salt. So you've got things like the lab cramps, constipation, which I struggled with, and that was my own fault for not drinking enough water. The keto breath, that doesn't last, but it's you can get away with using, as I say, sugar-free gum and things like that. Heart palpitations, I never really experienced that one, if I'm honest. And to start with, you'll have some reduced physical performance, but it will increase once you get adapted. The less common side effects, gout. None of us had gout, so we were lucky there. I have heard of gallstone problems before with fast weight loss, temporary hair loss, elevated cholesterol, reduced tolerance to alcohol, that I noticed. A keto rash, I've never had that. So keto myths, because there are some myths about. Most side effects of keto are minor and temporary, but there are a lot of myths that scare people, like the idea that your brain will cease function unless you eat lots of carbs. It's a myth based on a lack of understanding of the way the body works in ketosis, from switching the fuel supply of the brain to ketones. Another common mistake is mixing up normal ketosis, resulting from a keto diet, with the dangerous medical emergency ketoacidosis. They are two very different things. Ketoacidosis does not happen just from eating a keto diet. How much weight will you lose on keto? Wow. Gosh, how long's a piece of string? Results vary wildly. Most people lose between 2 and 4 pounds during the first week, at least. This is partially water weight. After that, it's common to lose about a pound of excess fat weight per week. However, some lose a lot faster than that. I think if you're younger, you seem to lose more. I don't know if that's because out of the group, I think I lost it the slowest, but I still lost it, so it's all right. So don't worry about it. When you approach your normal body weight, the weight loss will slow anyway, and that's the same with any diet. As long as you eat when you're hungry, you'll eventually stabilise your weight, even if you stay on a keto diet. How do you track your carb intake? Try and stay under 20 net grams of carbs per day. So you need to really get your knowledge up now with food and how many carbs are in it and things like that. So yeah, there are lots of good apps out there, and I will list them in the blog post for you to have a look at. And also, MyFitnessPal is a good app as well, and there's ways to count your carbs on there. So there's loads and loads of help out there if you look for it. So what happens after I reach my health and weight goals on keto? Wow, right then. So once you reach your goals, you can either keep eating keto to maintain the effect, or you can try adding a bit more carbs. In the latter case, the effect of the keto diet will be slightly weaker, and you may or may not regain some weight. If you completely revert to your old habits, you will slowly return to the weight and health situation you had before, and that's a fact. It's like exercising. If you stop doing it, you'll slowly lose the benefits. So it's the same as, keto, like exercise, it only works when you do it. Is it safe? We've kind of talked about it already. If you're on insulin, don't do it. You need to talk to your doctors. If you're on medication for high blood pressure, again, talk to your doctors. Breastfeeding, don't do it. Any doubts, go and see your doctor. So I've been asked what to eat, what not to eat. I think we've kind of talked about that really. Cheese, fish, seafood, natural fats, so your butter, your lard, your olive oil, meat, eggs, vegetables that grow above the ground, remember, cheese. Avoid the potatoes, avoid a lot of the fruit, to be honest. A lot of them are quite high in carbs. So I used to love apples, and they're quite carby. I've had one this year actually since starting this thing, and I couldn't eat it because it was too sweet, which is weird, but I don't really miss them now. Avoid beer, avoid the your pops, like your Coke and all that kind of stuff that's full of sugar. Your pasta, rice, bread, the cheaper chocolate bars, donuts, cakes, sweets, all that kind of thing. Get rid of it. It's not, as I say in my book, it's not rocket science. Drink plenty of water. You can drink coffee as long as it's black. You can drink tea as long as it's black. So another question here: how low carb is keto? Right, keto is a low carb diet, not a no carb diet. So how much of carbs can you eat in a day? Well, the answer is that it depends. But as a rough guide, stay under 20 grams per day for maximum effect. And everyone who wants some benefits of low carb eating, like effortless weight loss, should probably aim for at least staying under 100 grams of carbs a day. Keto needs to be high in fat. A proper keto low carb diet always means you get a lot more energy from natural fat like butter or olive oil, etc. The body has two main sources of energy, carbs and fats. Take away most of the carbs and the body switches to burning fat for energy. This can come from your fat stores or the fat in your food. This is why some smart people call keto diets LCHF, which is low carb, high fat. So how much fat should you eat? As much as you need to feel full. Whatever else the body burns, it will take from your fat stores as you lose weight. Eat more fat than you need to feel great, and it will slow down your fat loss. Eat too little fat and you'll feel tired and you'll feel hungry. Stop when you're satisfied. Don't just keep munching away. So that was all about ketosis. I'm sorry if I repeated myself a bit and I felt as if I was doing, but I was just literally going through loads of questions that I'd been asked. So I hope you found it helpful. If there's any queries whatsoever, message me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And anyone who wants to look at more about what we did on the Fast Fix, you can find that on my blog, which is www.tracyward.me, and that's Tracy with an E. So that is the end of today's podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall be talking to you next week. Okay, everyone take care and speak to you soon.